Welcome back to Magnum Madness. We are on to the championship round. You, the viewers, have voted these two cartridges to face off against each other. The 257 Weatherby on the left and the 300 Weatherby on the right. We're going to look at the performance of each of these, how they compare to each other, and then remember you guys get to vote for the best all-around Magnum. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm kind of surprised that the 257 Weatherby has made it all the way to the championship. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a wonderful Magnum, but it is a little small. It's shooting a 25 caliber bullet. The bullet versatility is not really there compared to bigger calibers. You're really limited to basically an 85 grain bullet up to a 120 grain. But man, does this thing shoot bullets ridiculously fast and is really flat. It's in fact one of the flattest cartridges in the world. And Hornady says this cartridge is a superb choice for hunting deer, antelope, sheep, and even goat. Many elk-sized animals have been taken with this cartridge, but it's at its best on deer-sized game. And I agree. While it definitely can take the bigger animals, this thing really excels with deer. Let's go ahead and look at the performance. Oh, so I said it around an 85, but Hornady offers a 75 grain bullet. You can shoot 3,800 feet per second. And then a 90 grain bullet, 3,700. 100 grain, over 3,500 feet per second. A popular hunting size bullet is the 110 grain, and that's going 34 plus 100 feet per second. Well, when you have the max velocity, you can't even get under 3,000 feet per second in any of its bullets, which is crazy. On to the 300 Weatherby Magnum. As I've said in many of my previous videos, introduced in 1944, like the 257 Weatherby, and it's really the do-it-all 30 caliber Magnum. People love it, and some people don't like it because of the recoil. It is a high recoiling cartridge, no doubt. And it's the most popular Weatherby cartridge by far, and for good reason. I mean, for example, with the 300 Weatherby, you can shoot 110 grain bullets all the way up to 225 or so grain bullets. And you're not going to get below 3,000 feet per second in velocities with these bullets until you hit above a 210 grain bullet. It's ridiculously fast, and as I said, very versatile. Now, in past videos I've done of these, I choose bigger, heavier bullets that could take big game. For this one, I wanted to do something a little different. I want to find out whether the 300 Weatherby is a flatter shooting cartridge or the 257. So we're going to be using varmint-sized bullets. For example, like maybe a 110 grain bullet. And according to Hornady, you can shoot that almost 4,000 feet per second. A 130 grain, over 3,700 feet per second. So let me know in the comments, which one do you think will be flatter? Now, I'm going to show you the ballistics of some varmint bullets, and we'll find out real soon. Without further ado, let's go ahead and look at the ballistics, comparing these two varmint bullets in the 257 and the 300. So we're using a 75 grain VMAX with a pitiful BC of 290, but that's okay. They are ridiculously flat. So with a muzzle velocity around 3,800 feet per second, that's just an estimate. You probably could get a little more. Energy, with these smaller bullets, less BC, you're not going to get as much energy, especially out at distances, but it's 2,400 foot-pounds. So usually you can get around 2,800 to 2,900. Recoil, around 19 pounds of recoil. So it's a bit more mild, especially when we compare it to the 300 Weatherby. So let's just take this out, and with this pitiful BC, you see that the velocities are dropping like 400 feet per second every 100 yards you're going, which is crazy. But, you know, out to 400 yards, when you hand load this little bullet, I mean, it matches the 6.5300 Weatherby in trajectory with factory ammo, of course. And so it's really flat at only 16 inches of drop, or 16.5 inches. All right, we're going to compare the two out to 500 yards. So let's look at 500. The bullet's going 2100. Energy is just not there at all, which is expected. And then, whoo, that is flat. Only 32.5 inches of drop at 500 yards when sighted in at 100. Wow, that's really flat. Now on to the 300 Weatherby. We're using 110 grain VMAX with the exact same BC, ironically, of .290. However, because the case is bigger, you can get these bullets going a little bit faster. So you can get around 3,900. And then again, like the 257 Weatherby, when you're shooting these smaller, not so high BC bullets, your energy is not going to be as good. In your typical hunting bullets, you're going to find that you can get around 4,200 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle in a 300 Weatherby. Recoil. Shooting a smaller bullet, it probably is going to be a little bit lower recoil, but still, it's a beast. It's hard to manage. 32 pounds of recoil. Now, let's take this out to 400 yards. It's going 2,000, basically 2,500 feet per second. The energy, wow, it's dipped a lot. Only at 1,500 foot-pounds. But look at that. It beats the 257 Weatherby by 1 inch. So this is 15.55, and then the 257 was 16.66. So this is flatter than a 6.5300 Weatherby. Now, once you get past 400 yards, the 6.5300, it's definitely going to be flatter. But out to 500 yards, it's going 2,200 feet per second, almost 1,200 foot-pounds of energy. And not surprising, it's a little bit flatter than the 257 Weatherby with this little 110 grain bullet. Only 30.5 inches of drop. It's crazy. Really flat. But I wouldn't want to be shooting these 110 grain bullets a lot in the 300 Weatherby. Your barrel's just not going to last. All right, before I end the video, I just wanted to compare these two to some certain categories that I feel are kind of important when deciding a cartridge to hunt with. Power-wise, both are extremely powerful. The 257 Weatherby is more powerful than a 270 and a 308 Winchester, and but hands down, the 300 Weatherby is a lot more powerful. Muzzle energy for the 257 Weatherby is going to be around 2,900 foot-pounds, while the 300 Weatherby is going to be 4,200. Okay. Versatility. And this one's not really a challenge. The 300 Weatherby has the 257 beat by a lot. You can shoot 110 grain bullets up to 225 grain bullets, while the 257, again, is limited by its slower twist rate barrel. So you're really limited to 75 grain up to 120 grain bullets. As a varmint cartridge, these two aren't my first pick as varmint cartridges, but the 257 has a lot less recoil. Theoretically, use the 257 as a varmint cartridge much more easily than a 300 Weatherby. As a big game cartridge, the 257 Weatherby is surprisingly good, just because of the ridiculous velocities it's going. But again, you can shoot a lot bigger bullets almost as quick in the 300 Weatherby. So as a big game cartridge, the 300 beats it. Recoil. To a bunch of you, this is pretty important. And this is where the 257 has it beat by quite a bit. 257 Weatherby will recoil similar to a 270, while the 300 is a beast to handle. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. To vote this time, you're not going to make comments, but there will be a link that you will do the official poll in. So look for the link. Thanks again for watching.